we know the combine's going on, and it's a dog and pony show, a waste of time for most people. I mean, there are, of course, a couple guys who wind up maybe improving their draft stock. But for the big boys, it's just a reason to put on tights and run around and, I don't know, get interviewed and take tests and all that kind of stuff to make the scouts and the GMs and the people feel like they have something worth doing. Okay. And I say that because how many times are people wrong on the draft and all that stuff? There's just so many mistakes and whatnot, people judging talent. But anyway, Caleb Williams, the USC quarterback, some people believe he will be the first overall pick. And Rob G., I want him to jump in because Caleb has gotten a reputation as basically being a diva because the late, he's not throwing at the combine, which is not unique for a guy of that ilk. He's not taking a physical or being measured like livestock. He didn't have to do all that. So now people, because of that, Brian Noe, you're one of those people in the camp that have a problem with Rob G. Just real quick, that's the biggest part about, right, that people have issues
That's the
with.
latest of it, because if you go back to when he was in college, you had speculation that, his camp wanted to get a piece of whatever team drafts him.
Yeah.
You had
I never heard that out of his mouth, right?
No. Yeah. You had some speculation that, he was more worried about his NIL money and than his team, and that's why during the bowl game that when the backup quarterback won, they're like, hey, we're a real team now. We're a real team. And people took that as a shot at him. And Brian Noe, friend of the show, in with you right now, Rob Parker, is one of those guys who thinks that Caleb Williams might be a little diva-ish.
All right. Well, then, Brian Noe, you have the floor because I'm ready to mop the floor with you, but you go first.
You know what I'm sensing here, Rob? I am sensing from Caleb Williams, and most notably his dad, I am sensing high-maintenance vibes. That's what I'm getting here. And let me not steer you from my central point here is, look, man, sometimes this comes with the territory. There have been some great athletes, all-time athletes, that have been high-maintenance guys. LeBron James is one of them. Aaron Rodgers is another one. The list goes on and on, where high maintenance, they need a lot. They either need a lot of attention, they need a lot of things to go their way based on the organization. They just need a lot. I think Caleb Williams could be the next iteration of that. And I think this is more to do with his dad than it is him, Rob. But it's just been one thing after another, after another, after another. It's, hey, could my son get an ownership stake on top of his contract? Can that be a thing? It's like, okay, if that's just an isolated thing, I get you're trying to maximize your quarterback's worth. Nothing wrong with that. But then it becomes, well, what about this rookie wage scale? Do we need to be doing this? Are there any loopholes that we could expose? What's this with the eligibility rules and the medical testing? And what's up with the draft in general where the worst team gets the top pick? And why do we do it like that? It's just one thing after another, after another, after another. And so I'm sensing high-maintenance vibes when it comes to maybe not just Caleb Williams, but Caleb, his dad, his camp. I think there's going to be a lot there. But as long as he's uber talented, which he is, and highly productive, which he might be, teams will put up with it. That's just the way it goes. But I think he's going to be the next guy there.
Well, this is my issue I have, and I got a big pushback. First of all, give me the sound where you heard Caleb Williams say any of the things that you just talked about. Because I know I didn't hear him say not one of those things.
Well, he talked about the medical stuff. He's like, I'm not testing for all these 32 teams. It's just going to be the teams
I'm talking about I want a part of the team. I don't want to play. I'm talking about that's the stuff.
That's all his dad.
Okay, so I haven't heard anything from Caleb's mouth. And you talk about high maintenance. Eli and his dad, right, forced his way out of San Diego. We're not going to the Chargers. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Would you call that high maintenance, or is that disruptive of what the NFL system was?
Well, that's the epitome of high maintenance right
there. Okay, and what happened with Eli Manning in his career?
He was mediocre and showed up in 2 big games.
There you go. But he won 2 Super Bowls. Say whatever you want. He's going to go to the Hall of Fame. He has 2 signature throws. He beat Tom Brady twice, including the 18-0 Patriots. I'll take high maintenance if you produce.
That's what I'm saying, too.
All right, but wait. John Elway was supposed to go to the Baltimore Colts. Yes, people, before they moved to Indianapolis, they were the Baltimore Colts. No, I'm not going. He threatened to even go play for the Yankees who drafted him. And guess what? Went to Denver, Hall of Fame career, and 2 Super Bowls. Stop with all the outside noise that really doesn't matter. Brian Noe, shame on you.
Wow.
It's about talent.
Wow.
That's all that matters. I don't want a nice guy who follows the rules if he can't play. That doesn't matter to me. Oh, he's a nice guy. Oh, he does everything we tell him to do. Oh, he signs all the autographs and waves to all the kiddies. But he can't play. Who cares about that? What is that where we are? We're going to nitpick about stuff that people have to write because they need content in the offseason? I'm dead serious. If Caleb went to a mic and said some of that stuff, Brian Noe, maybe I would buy into it. Maybe. But I think this whole idea of painting him as some diva, and I don't know if you want to deal with all that. All I know is that guy won the Heisman Trophy and kicked ass in college football when he played quarterback. And you know what? He's put himself in position to be the first overall pick. And if you're the damn Chicago Bears who haven't had a franchise quarterback since Moby Dick was a guppy, and you pass on this guy, you better get it right.
They'd be out of their minds to pass on him. Let me make that perfectly clear. To run it back with Justin Fields, whose passing numbers are in the toilet, would be a football crime. So I've never once said, no thanks, don't want him. I'm just saying there's going to be stuff that you're going to have to deal with. Maybe with him specifically or his dad specifically, just the camp, the overall thing. There's going to be a lot of stuff there. Let me ask you this, Rob. If you had the choice, okay, you could either date a supermodel that comes with some high maintenance needs, you know? She's going to need this. She's going to need you to do that. She's going to need you to do this. Or you could date a supermodel with no high maintenance issues whatsoever.
Such thing.
Let's suspend reality for a second. Which are you signing up for? Which are you signing up for?
Well,
ideally, right? You'd want the no high maintenance girl. That's in an ideal world.
I get you, but here's why your argument just doesn't hold up. Let me tell you some of the quarterbacks who threw at the combine. You ready? Mitch Trubisky. That worked out well. Oh, yeah, great.
Oh, I don't care about him not throwing.
How about
a lot of guys don't.
Sam Darnold? He threw at the I'm just talking about people who are making a big deal about him not throwing.
Josh Allen threw.
Josh Rosen, Marcus Mariota, Jameis Winston, Carson Wentz. I'm just saying, I'm not – you get to watch the guy in college. He has a tape. You take a look at that and game action when it really matters. That's what I care about, not the dog and pony show so that the NFL Network doesn't go black. They have to have something to put on. I mean, come on.
Yeah. No, look, man, Aaron Rodgers is a good example. He was a high-maintenance dude for the better part of 2 decades, you know, and it finally got to a point where the Packers are like, okay, we just got to move on. We've got Jordan Love. Let's switch gears over here. Do you think they would have done that if Aaron Rodgers was a lot more easy to get along with? I'm not so sure they would have. So the high maintenance stuff, it makes an impact, just not the ultimate impact, Rob, where you might have to deal with some stuff that comes along with the territory. That's just the way it goes sometimes.